Okay, so I work at this restaurant. It's a beautiful place, organic, local food, trees, picnic tables. But when I first started there in high school, I was the janitor. And my job was to clean the bathrooms. One day, I walked in to clean the customer bathroom, and as soon as I opened the door, there was this disgusting, reeking smell of human feces. Someone had completely ruined the bathroom. There was toilet paper all over the floor, dirty underwear stuffed in the trash can, and they hadn't even bothered to flush. I later figured out that the culprit was this one creepy old homeless lady who would always wander into the restaurant. Every single time, she made a giant mess in the bathroom. It wasn't just her. Homeless people were always wandering in, playing loud music, scaring away the customers, leaving heroin needles in the kids' playground. One time, my coworker found a pile of human shit on the floor. It was disgusting. The left wants us to feel really bad for homeless people. They're just victims of capitalism and racism. We just need to give them more food stamps and welfare checks. How dare you try to keep them from camping at your business? How dare you put up anti-homeless benches? But I guarantee if those same leftists worked one day at my job and actually had to deal with homeless people, they would feel the same way. Just know that while you're virtue signaling about anti-homeless architecture, your sisters are too scared to walk on the street alone. Just this year, I was walking through downtown Grand Rapids and I had to walk past this gang of like 7 homeless people. And I kid you not, this one homeless lady holds up a bag of feces and starts yelling, "You want some dookie? You want some dookie?" No, thank you, ma'am. I do not want some dookie. I want you to be arrested.
Local businesses complain about losing customers. I mean, would you want to park near here to shop? Residents complain about homeless people stealing from them. Neighbors complain about loud noise and trash. Some say helping the homeless is backfiring.
But Arthur, these people need our help. The leftist idea of helping people is literally just throwing money at them. That's all it is. And if you've ever talked to a homeless person, it should be obvious that money is not the issue.
Slow down, slow down. Get out of there! Every cock stole every idea I ever had. He came into my room, and they took
Who's been stealing your thoughts?
And they put everything. Did you ever read?
Honestly, I'm giving them too much credit. You can have the IQ of a pigeon and still get a job at a Subway or a gas station. All you have to do is show up to work and do the bare necessities. You don't even have to be friendly. But I guarantee, most homeless people haven't even tried to apply, because at the end of the day, they'd rather just do drugs on the street. I personally know of 2 homeless people, and they both admitted that they chose that lifestyle.
Why don't you get a job? If you're so hungry, why don't you get a job? Listen, what's your name? Al. Get a goddamn job, Al.
I do want to make it clear, there are some homeless people who just genuinely get screwed over in life. I mean, if you're some Pakistani immigrant who can't speak English or some disabled veteran, you can't just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You really cannot get a good job. And people like that, disabled people or crazy people or children, people who really cannot take care of themselves, we as a society should absolutely take care of. I'm fully in support of free food and housing for these people. But the media tries to pretend that all homeless people are like that. They'll play segments like The Truth About Homelessness in America, and they'll always interview the most articulate, sympathetic homeless guy they can find, who's a veteran who just couldn't work because he doesn't have legs. Again, we should take care of people like that, but those people are a minority. For every disabled veteran, there's 24 lazy crackhead bums. You know this, I know this, anyone who's dealt with homeless people knows this damn well. For those people, for the bums, giving them free stuff just encourages laziness and enables their lifestyle. We need to drive them out of our cities so they stop trashing the streets and ruining public spaces. We need to build public housing. I mean, in theory, if we had like infinite money to spare, I would be okay with that. But as our libertarian friends remind us, nothing is ever really free. Free public housing would cost millions of taxpayer dollars, dollars that my family and your family could have spent on our own needs. If you want to spend your money building public housing, by all means, feel free. But I don't want to rob the middle class of their hard-earned money to build shacks for lazy, stupid criminals. It probably won't even help them that much. They'll probably just destroy the shacks in a few weeks, and they'll still spend their days doing drugs. I know a guy who worked at a homeless shelter, and he said that every night, all the homeless people would go out and wander the streets, stealing and looting the city. Giving these people a slightly nicer place to sleep will not fix their lives and turn them into productive members of society. It's just not their nature. There's an ongoing Supreme Court case where a town in Oregon started fining homeless people for camping in public parks. And the left is just furious. This is a violation of human rights. This is cruel and unusual punishment. Sorry, I like my city, and I don't want druggies leaving tents and trash all over our public parks. I don't want them roaming around shooting heroin and harassing people.
He's owned his auto repair shop here for 30 years, the last 5 of which, he says, have been miserable.
I think we all feel like we've been under siege since probably 2016.
Watts says since the homeless started setting up camp right across the street, there have been no fewer than 127 break-in attempts at his shop. It got so bad a few years ago, he dubbed his neighborhood Tweakerville and started streaming its activities on YouTube. He says the camp is killing business.
And what we find is that people drive by. They've checked our references. They've checked our reviews. Everything looks great. They know what our quality level is. When they drive into the area, they just keep driving.
I can already see all the leftists in the comments like, sweetie, that's not very Christ-like of you. Don't you know that Jesus was a socialist? He said that you have to give money to widows and orphans. Of course, they're right that almsgiving has always been part of Christianity, but you have to understand that this was a completely different time. It wasn't like today, where 55% of homeless people abuse alcohol, 25% abuse drugs. Of course, those are only the ones who admit it, so the numbers are probably higher. 68% of cities found that substance abuse was the largest cause of homelessness for single adults. If you tossed a homeless person a coin in 30 AD, you could be pretty sure they'd spend it on bread. There wasn't disability pay and social safety nets back in 30 AD, so most of the homeless people were widows and orphans and lepers. In the modern world, if you want to give alms, which you should, don't just hand out money on the street. Give it to reliable charities that will buy surgeries for kids in Africa and stuff. A lot of people ask, well, what about buying food for homeless people? What about soup kitchens? And this is coming from a good place. The problem is that even just giving them food makes the bum lifestyle easier, which incentivizes more people to do it. You may think that's ridiculous. Who would choose to do drugs on the street all day rather than work? But I actually know a woman whose brother is voluntarily homeless. He actually chose that lifestyle because he wanted to do drugs and not work. His family has given him money. They've done everything they can. I mean, his sister's a lawyer. It's not like he didn't have opportunities. And his family says they wish people would stop buying him food because that just enables his self-destructive lifestyle. The fact that someone is homeless is a pretty good indicator that they aren't good with money. Maybe they won't spend it on drugs, but honestly, the odds aren't great. Best case scenario, he uses it to buy a healthy, nutritious meal. But even then, all you've done is prolong his miserable, drug-addled existence by a few hours. These people contribute nothing to society, they ruin a lot of nice places, and we as a civilization cannot tolerate them anymore. Unleash the cops, take back the streets, like the video, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. God bless America.
Take back the streets. Get rid of the bums. Again, unleash the cops to clear the streets of bums and vagrants. Where will they go? Who cares? Hopefully they will disappear. That is, move from the ranks of the petted and cosseted bum class to the ranks of the productive members of society.